Before I do the review, I have a couple things to say. First of all, I'd like to apologize if I look like complete shit. That's because I haven't slept in 14 hours. And the second thing I'd like to say is thank you. I mean, I reached 100 subscribers about 4 or 5 days ago, but I was on holiday. I was in Japan, so I couldn't really make a video saying thank you. I'm saying thank you now. When I reached 50 subscribers back around in March, I kind of set the goal that, you know, I was going to try and reach 100 by the end of the year, and I have. So I'd like to thank anyone and everyone who has ever watched my videos, who has subscribed, who has, you know, supported me. So I'd like to thank everyone. Just a huge thank you to all of you watching or not watching or whatever. Just thank you, thank you, thank you. So yeah, let's start with the review for Bright. So yeah, this movie is directed by David Ayer. It's currently available to stream on Netflix. It is a Netflix film. I saw this film about 2 days ago, but like I said, I was on holidays, so I couldn't really review it. And it stars Will Smith and Joel Edgerton as two police officers, two LAPD officers, but in a world where humans, orcs, elves all live together, and sort of this sort of class thing where like elves are the rich people, orcs are the poor people, humans are in between, and Joel Edgerton plays the first ever orc policeman in the LAPD, and it causes a lot of controversy. And Bright basically follows Will Smith and Joel Edgerton and their adventures, and, you know, they're trying to stop bad guys. And, you know, I was pretty excited for this movie. This is basically, I think, Netflix's most ambitious movie. It's their biggest movie. It's probably the most expensive movie. And, you know, the talent here is pretty impressive. I mean, you have David Ayer, who, if given the right material, can make something really, really good, like End of Watch, which has one of my favorite Jake Gyllenhaal performances. He also wrote Training Day, and so he's a very talented guy. You have Max Landis doing the script, who wrote Chronicle, which is a personal favorite of mine, but he's a very hit and miss sort of screenwriter. You have Will Smith and Joel Edgerton, two of the best actors in Hollywood right now, and so this film was shaping up to be something really, really great. And after seeing Bright, I have to say that the best way for me to describe this movie to you is it's good, but it's not like whoa. So I guess what I'm trying to say is Bright is a solid film. It's one that you can watch. It's one that you can enjoy. It has some really, really great moments, but it's not outstanding. It's not mind-blowing. It's nowhere near as good as some of the other Netflix films we've had this year, like Okja and Mudbound. But it is still a very fun watch. And I guess I'm just going to talk about some of the good stuff first. By far the best thing about this movie is the idea. Max Landis came up with an incredible idea of sort of combining the gritty, hard realism of films like Training Day and End of Watch with Lord of the Rings and Harry Potter. And it actually combines really, really well. However, there is a lot of backstory and stuff like that, so a lot of exposition is necessary, and a lot of exposition is in the movie. Sometimes it is done very well, sometimes not so much. But overall, I think that the idea of this movie, of Bright, is by far the best thing about it. Also, this is a very, very well made movie. It feels like it cost $90 million, and that's a compliment. Like, $90 million is not that much, but it really, really feels like it's an expensive movie, if you know what I mean. The cinematography, the visual effects, all of it's really, really good. I would probably say that this is David Ayer's best looking film. And the action sequences, the car chases, the fight scenes, the shootouts, everything actually really feels like realistic, and it feels fun. And I really like that they have these elves and orcs and all this stuff doing flips and, you know, super strength and lifting cars and stuff. But it all feels really grounded and gritty. And I think that's one of the things that David Ayer does really well with this movie, is that he takes something that in the hands of another director would feel very sort of larger than life, but he really, really grounds it in reality, and I think that's one of David Ayer's best skills as a filmmaker. Also, Will Smith and Joel Edgerton are incredible. Their chemistry here is really, really good, and I have to say that Joel Edgerton gives a really, really good performance here. He gives a good performance in every movie he's in. He's such a talented guy. He directed a movie called The Gift, and that was such a great film. And yeah, Joel Edgerton gives an incredible performance in this film. And I would probably say that his character is probably more interesting than Will Smith. He's the more complex one. He's the one with more depth. And in a way, he's the one that you relate to more. Both of these lead performances are great. However, some of the other characters, especially Edgar Ramirez and Noomi Rapace's characters, were kind of bad. These two are really, really great actors who I've seen and admire in many, many films. But in this film, they were kind of bad. Edgar Ramirez in this film basically plays Colin Farrell's character from Minority Report, but nowhere near as interesting. He's just kind of a lousy written character. And Noomi Rapace, who's the villain, is laughably bad. She has some cool like fight scenes, but as a character, she's so bad. In fact, pretty much every single character in this movie, except for Will Smith and Joel Edgerton, are only there so that they can do something that will progress the story, to, you know, push the story forward. They're not actually there to have, like, you know, do anything as characters. They're just there as plot devices, really. And that's one of the big problems with this movie, is that aside from Will Smith and Joel Edgerton, everything around them just kind of feels like, meh. And also, this is just a really predictable film. That is by far my biggest problem with Bright. It's so damn predictable. Everything that happens in this film, I could just guess. Also, the editing in this movie feels very, very noticeably weird. Not like Suicide Squad, where you can kind of tell where, like, certain things have been cut out. But this movie is 2 hours, okay? And it should have easily been at least 2 hours and 20 minutes, just so that you could have some extra time to make some of the scenes feel more like scenes, and also to have more backstory. I think that would have been nice for the film. Now, there is this one scene, and this is not a spoiler, where a woman gets a phone call, and she gets up and she walks out the door. And it's cut in a very strange way, because normally, you know, you get the phone call, you hang up, you stand up, and then it cuts to a shot of her walking to the door. But here, she stands up, and then it just cuts to her, like, right by the door, about to open it, and it just feels weird and out of place, and it feels really strange. Like, it's a weird edit. The editing in this film just feels weird, and if you make YouTube videos, if you edit videos on a weekly basis, or, you know, often, you'll be able to pick up on things like that. And it is kind of weird how a $90 million film funded by Netflix, directed by David Ayer, made these weird mistakes. So I think that Bright is a problematic film. However, there is a sequel being made, apparently, and I am actually pretty excited to see them sort of explore this world, because it is an incredibly intriguing world that I want to see more of. And I'm going to give this movie a B. Guys, thank you very, very much for watching. We're pretty much at the end of the year now. There are a couple of films here and there that I need to see, that I am getting to see. I'm watching Detroit right now. I saw Battle of the Sexes last night. I want to watch Killing of the Sacred Deer. The Greatest Showman and Jumanji are coming out in cinemas where I live right now in a couple of days. So I'm going to try and see those films before I make my best of the year list. I'm currently doing my best of the year sort of 2017 movie montage. I'm very excited to do that. But thank you very much, guys, for watching this video. Thank you.